Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. Now obviously we've been doing, you've seen a couple of videos from my ESEE 6 mod series, and that's got me thinking a little bit about the tools that I use and sort of possible modifications I can do. Now I found an old neck knife of mine a little while ago. I've had this for a few years. It's not a very good knife, basic little sheath, and you know what I thought was going to be quite a nice little neck knife. Now I bought it online, and the quality of the steel is really bad. I'm not sure if you can see this on the camera very well, but I've sort of had a go at reprofiling this blade a little bit. I don't know what the steel is, but it's actually really bad quality steel. So it's not something I'm ever really likely to use. And you know, I was thinking about putting it in a giveaway or something, but because it's such a bad knife, I don't really want to pass this on to anybody else, especially if it's someone who's not sort of particularly you know, familiar with using knives, because there's, as I've said in my videos before, there's nothing worse than a sort of a blunt knife that you're having to put a lot of pressure into. But what I did think is that maybe I can use this as a sort of a first attempt, if you like, at something that I might do to another blade in the future. Now what I've got here is a bottle of ferric chloride. This is used for etching blades, and what I'm going to do, I'm basically just going to try and etch this blade. It provides a coating of sorts, certainly provides a finish on the blade. It's not particularly protective, but again, with a blade that's not coated anyway, it's not going to do it any major harm. What I've also got here is a bottle of nail varnish that I've sort of purloined from my my wife's dressing table, so if you could not mention that, that'd be great. But basically all I'm going to do is kind of just sort of paint a very basic design onto this, and you'll have to excuse me because my artistic skills are pretty much zero. But what I want to do is just maybe put a couple of lines or something on this. I'll get it into a glass jar with the ferric chloride and see how the etch takes. So what I'll do, guys, I'll bring you a little bit closer in and we'll see where we go from there. Right then guys, so here's my setup. So this is the blade, as you've seen. Again, nothing special, but it's just going to do as a good little sort of test run for me. Now what I've got here is a glass jar. You can use plastic, and obviously that's what the ferric chloride is contained in. Reason I'm using glass is A, so you can sort of see through it and see what's going on, and B, it's just got a lid on it, so I can basically keep it in this container when I'm not using it. And I think from what I've seen, and it's not something I've used before, you can get sort of 2 or 3 etches out of one sort of dose of this stuff, if you like. Now what I've done, I've just got a little piece of wire here that I've sort of pre-bent to the right size, and then all I need to do, hook that onto the knife like so, and as I've measured this out, so I can basically drop this in this jar. It's hanging to just almost touching the bottom, and that will basically allow me to just sort of leave it doing its thing and then pull it out without having to come into contact with anything afterwards, which is obviously quite useful. Now again, what I'm planning on doing with this, and I'll give you a close-up once I've done it, just taking this nail varnish. I've seen half a dozen or more people online using this, and what that will do is it will create a barrier between the acid and the metal, so that the exposed metal parts will get an etch on them, and hopefully underneath the nail varnish won't do. Now it's the first time I've tried it, so I really couldn't say with any certainty how it's going to work. And again, I'm not you know, I'm by no means an artist, so really I'm going to follow some of the lines of the knife, just very basically, and as I say, it's not going to be a pretty job, and if I do come to do this to one of my other knives in the future, what I suspect I'll end up doing is using some sort of a template, which will allow me to sort of make a much neater job. To be honest, I've got a few friends who are pretty good at sort of you know, drawing and painting and those kind of things, and that is the sort of thing that I might actually ask someone else to do for me, because you know, I do know my limitations when it comes to things like this. But just for the purpose of this video, and I realise this does pretty much resemble a big splodge on the blade, I'm just going to sort of put a nice large area just so you've got some definition between what I'm trying to do. And I think I might put a couple of little blobs on the handle, just sort of like a tiger stripe effect, if you like, just to sort of see how that works. So I think I'll leave it just on the one side. There's no need to do it on both. and as I say, it's not something that I ever intend on using, so I'm really not concerned about that. But there you go, you can kind of see what I'm going for. Like I said, it's really not pretty, but you know, it's just really to sort of prove the theory, if you like, if nothing else. Now I'm going to leave that there to dry for sort of 5-10 minutes or so, at least until I can touch it so it's not tacky, and I'll come back and we'll start the etch. Right then guys, so the paint has now dried, as you can see hopefully on, where are we, here. Again, you know, it's a real basic design, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fill this glass jar up with the ferric chloride, and again I should say, as with every type of you know, acid or anything of that type, you need to be really careful with this stuff. Now what I'm going to do, by rights I should be wearing gloves, and I highly recommend that to anybody that's going to do this. I'm not personally, well, there's no real reason for it, guys. I'm just not wearing them. I haven't got any to hand. Now all I'm going to do is gently lower that into the ferric chloride. That's fully submerged. I realise you can't see much through here. I've moved you around a little bit just so that you can kind of you know, see what happens as it goes. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave this for probably half an hour, which is kind of the advice I've got from various places online. And what we'll do, we'll pull it out after half an hour and have a look. I'll leave the camera rolling for 5 or 10 minutes and I'll fast forward through the footage if there's anything of note. If not, I'll just cut to us bringing it out. So it's been about half an hour. There was nothing really of note to show you, so I did cut early, as I said I would. So really I'm just going to take it out. I haven't looked at it yet, so you'll be seeing this the same time as me, and we'll see what we've got. So straight away I can definitely see a colour change to this. Obviously there's still a lot of the liquid on there that needs to sort of run off, so I don't know how that's going to change the look. And what you're supposed to do at this stage is transfer it over into some water just to basically wash off the acid. I'm just going to let it sort of finish dripping off the end of the blade first, because I don't want to put too much acid in the water. And we'll see how it looks from there. Okay, so it's not particularly dark, certainly not as dark as I thought it was going to be, but again there is a distinctive colour change to this knife. It's got a really nice sort of uniform grey, which I quite like the look of, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put that back in the water, find the lid for this and just move this to one side so there's no risk of knocking it over, spilling it anywhere. And then I just want to take just a clean rag just to wipe this water off, dry it down. Let's have a look. And there we go. I mean, I'm just going to see how, in fact no, this paint's not coming off at all. Which is not unsurprising. So what I think I'll do, guys, I'll give this a couple of minutes just to sort of fully dry off. I'll peel away some of that paint, and we'll come back and see what we've got. Right then, guys, so we're done. I'm fairly pleased with it, certainly as a test piece. I'll show you the back of the blade first. This was the area that I didn't put any of the paint on. Fairly sort of nice flat uniform grey finish, big difference from sort of the plain steel that it was before. I've given it a quick strop just to sort of show the edge a little bit more, and a quick coating in oil just to sort of make it stand out a bit more. So moving around to the other side, and again I said from the very beginning it wasn't going to be the prettiest of jobs, but you know, I think it's turned out okay. It's certainly proven the theory, and I'll see if I can get this quite close up to the camera for you. So you've got this nice uniform grey, which I think is a nice looking finish, a very sort of utility style You know, very sort of, I don't know how hard wearing this finish is going to be. I've given it a bit of a scrub with some emery cloth and it doesn't seem to be coming off. And again, you've got the areas that I put the paint on, which have kind of highlighted really nicely. You know, if I'd actually taken some time, maybe masked this up, you know, measured out the spaces and made some sort of proper tiger stripes or something like that, I think it would have been a really, really nice looking knife. So that's something I'm certainly going to bear in mind for the future. I might have a look at some of my other knives. You know, I haven't got anyone's in particular in mind at the moment, but you know, it's only given me some food for thought. But I hope it was useful, guys. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks, guys.